44 years ago, Ian Williamson was a young Australian soldier fighting in the Vietnam War. He shot and killed a Vietnamese soldier, and in a decision not taken lightly, he decided to return to Vietnam to face that man's family. The events of all those years ago caused huge ripple effects for both families, and the pain still runs deep. Southeast Asia correspondent Samantha Hawley reports.
Hanoi awakens. An old city touched by the new, but with a past that still comes knocking.
Apprehensive, a little bit bewildered, a bit cautious. I'm quite daunted by the whole thing. I love the hammer and sickle and the red flag and the yellow star.
I can't believe we're finally here.
I know, it's amazing.
West Australian man Ian Williamson and his daughter Amanda have been on a 2-year journey to put the past to rest, to confront a 4-decade-old burden that sat on the shoulders of the Vietnam veteran since June the 13th, 1971.
If I can talk to them and tell them what happened and know they have got some solace and peace in life now, then that's all I want. It really is all I want.
Private Williams never chose to go to war. When he was just 20 years old, he was called up to serve his country, spending 8 months in Vietnam. There he fought in Operation Overlord, a 2-week battle in Phuoc Tuy province, 35 kilometres southeast of then Saigon. On that day in 1971, Private Williamson took a Vietnamese soldier's life in a moment that saved his own, but has shadowed his thoughts every day since.
I identified him as an enemy soldier. He was carrying an AK-47. As soon as I saw that weapon, I fired an aimed 6-round burst. I saw him fall. I paused for half a second while the smoke cleared and I fired off the rest of the magazine. I had no idea what was behind him, whether he was on his own or there was another section behind him. And I noticed he was hit with 3 rounds. One went, we think, through the heart. So I was quite pleased that he didn't suffer at all.
A month later, he was handed a reward.
My platoon commander came around the tent that night and he said, Willie, he said, a couple of things off the body you might like to keep as a memento. I said, thanks, sir. I put it in my case and it stayed there for 44 years. Hi, Samantha. Fine, thanks.
The former army private is now in Hanoi 44 years later to hand back to the soldier's family what he was given that day, a compass and a hammock.
It's quite a large hammock, but I think it'd struggle to fit an Aussie soldier in there, possibly. Yeah.
While other family members have come with him, his daughter, an Army Lieutenant Colonel herself, shares a special bond and is helping to guide her father through an emotional minefield.
This is a really concrete and practical way we can, through our family, apologise and hand these items back to their family, and hopefully they'll have some comfort from that.
Ian Williamson's return to Vietnam would never have been possible except for this woman. Mrs. Hang runs Maren, a Vietnamese NGO committed to searching for information on Vietnamese soldiers missing in action.
We got information from Australia, like the name of the dead soldier, his unit, where and when he died. And it took only 2 days to find out.
2 days to find the tomb of the soldier in Ho Chi Minh City, where they say he'd been reburied. It took longer to find the soldier's family, but Maren and the Australian Embassy in Hanoi are confident they've done that now. Ian and his family are setting out on a 200-kilometre journey south of Hanoi to a province where the dead Vietnamese soldier's brother, sister and fiancé are waiting for a reconciliation they never expected. It's a 3.5-hour anxious but picturesque journey to Thanh Hoa province. A short drive later brings the Australians to the Vietnamese family home, where neighbours have flocked to witness a moment in history. Sergeant Nguyen Sai Hui was shot and killed by Ian Williamson in June 1971 when he was just 24 years old. The home shrine serves as an everyday reminder to the family of what they lost to the war.
I have no right to imagine the grief you have been through and the heartache at your loss of Mr. Quy. I had many sleepless nights after this action, but fortunately time is a healer. It helps to heal, as you will know too well. The items removed by myself from Mr. Quy have stayed with my family for 44 years, and I'm honoured to be able to return them to your family today.
After a long, difficult journey, the compass and hammock are returned home.
All I can say to everyone who has helped make this day happen, thank you for doing so much. We do have a last wish, that my brother's tomb could be moved here, back home.
When he went 40 years ago, he promised me he'd come back. I had waited for him for so long.
With hundreds of thousands of Vietnamese soldiers still missing in action, this is just one story of two families thrust together by war. And a story of a father and a daughter who've done all they can to reconcile the past.
For us, the return of those items, it demonstrates a real closure point for our family.
Samantha Hawley with that report, and that's the program for tonight. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow, but for now, good night.